Okay, so welcome to Module 1, Intro to your iPad. Going to go ahead and get started by reading the disclaimer. The Wilderness Technology Alliance DC Senior iPad program, its owners and presenters offer technical assistance, vir virtual health, and well-being information designed for educational purposes only. You should not rely on the information in any applications or topics made by the Wilderness Technology Alliance, including, but not limited to, mobile and device applications, and any social media pages maintained by the Wilderness Technology Alliance DC Senior iPad program, its owners or presenters, as a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, treatment, or legal advice. Okay. Excellent. All right. So for general help, you can email helpdesk@wildtech.org or call 202-800-6868 Mondays through Wednesdays and Fridays from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Just as an announcement, there has been a flood of calls coming to the help desk the last several weeks since this new Zoom update. So if you have called and you've left a message, you don't have to call back and leave another message about the same issue. We're working to get those voicemails down now, especially in the last week. That's something that's been um, just flooding the help desk. So they are being reached back out to everyone who's called and left a voicemail. So I just wanted to put that out there so you don't think you're being ignored. Okay. All right. So how to rename yourself, which is huge right now, given that every time that everyone logs back in, it after the Zoom update, you're coming up as iPad. If you're not showing your name as your first and last name, go ahead and tap on the screen and tap on participants. And you can tap where it says me, which is going to be the first name that comes up. That could say iPad, that could say Zoom user. Tap there and tap rename. Okay, you can erase whatever is there using your on-screen keyboard and type in your first and last name. And when you're finished, type done. I'm going to check the participants list now. You know, if you're on the phone, I can rename you myself. But besides that, everyone who is on Zoom via the video call, go ahead and change to your first and last name so we know who you are. All right. Most persons have renamed themselves. If you'd like to raise your virtual hand, and you all can practice this now, tap participants and then tap more and then tap raise hand. Okay, there we go. All right. Good job, Mr. Leon. Excellent. Okay, I'm seeing a lot of hands raised. Excellent. It's good to see a lot of the persons who just joined the iPad program coming on back. I'm seeing some repeat names from the last 2 weeks. Excellent. Okay. Excellent. Got over 10 hands up. Thank you for the participation. Okay. Let's move along past the preliminaries. I'm just going to lower our hands. Okay, and then we're going to talk about how to use the chat. If you want to communicate with others non-verbally, the chat is a great way to share excellent. Thank you for that. To share a greeting, ask a question, congratulate, or encourage others. So you can tap more at the top right, tap chat. Depending on your current Zoom update, this may be at the bottom of your screen, and that's okay. Either way, you're going to tap either more, tap on the word chat, and you can send messages. So I love the use of the chat feature already. Let's keep that up. All righty. So we're going to go through iPad basics, Apple ID, Zoom, and email. We're going through these things briefly because throughout the week, there are the next 2 weeks, there are other modules on Zoom, email, Apple ID, okay? So this module is mainly for the iPad basics because there are other modules that go more in depth to these other subjects, okay? So if you haven't gone through all modules 1 through 6, this is a great time to start. We're doing module 1 today. Wednesday will be 2, Friday will be 3, and next week we'll start with 4 Monday, 5 next week on Wednesday, and then 6 next week on Friday, okay? All right, so we're going to go through the iPad basics. These are the specs for your iPads. When you receive your iPad, it was either the 7th or 9th generation. You received a Lightning to USB-C cable. Lightning is the side that has the white part, and USB-C is the other side that just has the oval. And a 20-watt USB-C power adapter. Okay, so the iPad 9th gen, which is what most of y'all have, came out in 2021. Has a 64 gigabyte storage. These are the model numbers covered in the 9th generation iPad. And the version that you all have has Wi-Fi and cellular data capability. Okay. So the height is about 9.8 inches, 6.8 inches in width, 2,900 inches in depth, and a little over a pound in weight. And that's not with the case, of course. All right. So I'm going to slow down on this because we received a question in the help desk this morning about the power button and turning the iPad completely off. So we're going to look at these buttons and connectors, okay? Something that I tell persons is that the iPad screen does cut off automatically after you leave it alone for a while, but there is a way that you can completely turn off your iPad. If you look at this picture on the left-hand side, number 2, on the top right-hand corner of the iPad, what's displayed there is actually the power button. So if you hold down that button, a pop-up will show on your screen and it will say slide to power off. Don't do it now. Don't do it now. It's going to cut off your iPad, okay? But I just want to show you that there is a way to completely turn the iPad off if you don't use that feature. Saves battery as well, because eventually if your iPad is on, the battery will eventually keep running down, even if you're not using it, okay? So you will hold down that button where the number 2 is, and then take your finger and slide from right to left. If you do it, you'll see exactly what I mean. And if you're still having trouble finding that little button, please reference your manual that came with your iPad when we delivered it. Okay, besides that, there's a front camera. That's what allows us to see you if you choose so. You have your volume buttons on the side of the iPad, up and down. You have the home button, which I hope all of you are familiar with. That's the black circular button that you don't want to press now, but it takes you back to the home screen and it saves you. And from if you're stuck in an app, press that home button to get back to your home screen. You have your rear camera, which allows you to zoom. And also you can zoom and record higher quality videos. And you also have the headphone jack as well. Okay. All right, so some specifications on the camera and FaceTime. Your front camera, 1 second, has 12 megapixels, ultra wide camera, great for photos and FaceTime video. And also has 1080p HD video recording. But the back camera has wide camera, and like we just talked about, digital zoom up to 5 times. Okay, so keep in mind, you can't zoom with the front camera on your iPad, but you can zoom with the back camera. A few more things about your iPad. You do have access for audio calling, which is similar but not the same as your cell phone or house phone. Okay, that's FaceTime audio. Also, speakers, that's how you can hear me speaking right now through your iPad. Microphones, that's how we can hear you when you choose to ask a question or comment. It does have cellular capability, Bluetooth capability. Bluetooth means that you're able to connect your iPad to another mobile device that is can project sound, headphones, or a speaker, something portable. You have a electronic SIM card that is currently paid and provided by Department of Aging. That's the cellular data that we're also going to talk about. Built-in GPS is in your iPad as well. And Touch ID. We talked about Touch ID last week. Okay. You're able to unlock your iPad, secure data, and also download apps from the App Store. Okay. All right. So check out the YouTube channel if you want to look back on the video on Touch ID. Siri. So it allows you to use your voice to send messages, set reminders, and more. Get proactive suggestions and also use hand-free. So a few persons may have noticed when they hold down their home button, don't do so now, you'll see a ball of light that pops up. That is called Siri. It's a helper that's built into your iPad and allows you to automate requests. You can say, and I have to grab my devices because they'll likely be ready to respond, but you can say, hey, Siri, open up this app, and it will open it up for you. So that's a helpful feature on your iPad if you choose to use it and turn it on. Okay. Your global positioning system, that's the GPS that's built into your iPad. If you want to see how far something is away from you via driving or via metro transportation, you can do that right from your iPad under the app called Maps. Okay. So you can put in the location that you're trying to get to or see how far away it is. You can also see what traffic may be blocking, what delays there may be on Metro from where you are to where you like to go. So it's a very helpful app, okay? Okay, the difference between Wi-Fi and cellular data. And this picture on the side might help. Wi-Fi and cellular means you can connect to the internet through a Wi-Fi connection or the cellular data provided to you by the Department of Aging. Okay, so if you look at this picture on the right, the Wi-Fi network is something that this person has in their home. Most libraries provide Wi-Fi. There's also DC Wi-Fi. I've used Metro Wi-Fi. So that is one type of network, but there's another network through cellular data. I'm sorry, that connects to cellular towers and allows you to use your internet when you're out and about. AT&T, T-Mobile, Verizon, they all provide cellular data, okay? As far as your iPad storage, I know this picture shows an iPhone, but we're also going to look at some pictures of how to access and view the storage on your iPad, okay? iOS, that's the Apple operating system, monitors the storage on your device by analyzing how much space each app uses. You can also check the storage on your device and settings. So, just like this picture shows on the right, and like we're going to see on the next screen, you can see how much space each app is taking up, and even with that information, delete some things so as to save space. Okay, so here's how to check the storage that's on your iPad. We're going to look at these pictures, starting with this one on the left. So in your settings app, which has this little toggle gear, the gray icon shown at the on the bottom left, you tap on settings. Then on the left-hand side, you'll tap general. Okay. After you tap on general on the left-hand side, look on the right-hand side, and about the middle of the screen, you'll see iPad storage. Okay. Here you can view a summary of your used content at the top. So it seems like this person has used 37.5 gigabytes of 64. That's the whole summary. And you can also tap on an app's name for more information about its storage. And you can see how much storage each app is taking up. So this person on the right, their games are taking up the most storage. Okay, so it shows on the right-hand side, it says Avatar is taking up 3 gigabytes. Okay, so they can see this app is taking the most space on their iPad, and they can act accordingly if they want to remove some things or not. Okay, so we're going to look now at Apple ID. Excellent. I love to see all the well wishes in the chat. Let's go ahead and look at Apple ID. Here are some Apple ID basics. Apple ID is the authentication method used by all Apple devices. When an Apple ID is used to log in to an Apple device, all associated settings will be applied to the iPad. What that means is, if you already have an Apple ID, meaning you had an iPod, an iPhone, prior to having an iPad, if you use the same Apple ID or Apple account on your iPad, then the settings should transfer over, okay? Your Apple ID is used to access Apple services like the App Store, iCloud, iMessage, FaceTime, and more. It includes the email, new or old, and password you use during the sign-up process. So holding on to that password is really important. We're going to watch a video that explains this a little more.
Your Apple ID is your personal account for the entire Apple universe. With one account, you can access all of Apple's products and services, like iCloud, the App Store, and a lot more. That means you'll have the best experience with your Apple devices and services if you use just one Apple ID and don't share it with anyone else. Why do you need an Apple ID? When you get a new Apple device, you can sign in with your Apple ID to store and access all your personal data in iCloud, like your files, photos, contacts, and calendars. You can download previous purchases from the iTunes Store and App Store and sign in to Apple Music. If you ever lose a device, you can find it by signing in to the Find My app. Your Apple ID is also your account for iMessage and FaceTime. With so many features and personal info tied to one account, you can probably see why everyone should have their own Apple ID and avoid sharing it. Say you let your child use your Apple ID on their iPhone or iPad. They could accidentally delete your important notes or contacts. And FaceTime calls for them would ring your phone too. Instead, everyone should have their own Apple ID. To share iTunes Store and App Store purchases and iCloud storage with your family, you can set up family sharing. How do you keep your Apple ID secure? First, use a strong password that you can remember. Don't reuse it anywhere else, and don't share it with anyone. Then make sure you're using two-factor authentication, which is designed to keep someone else from signing in as you, even if they know your password. When it comes to Apple, Your Apple ID is the most important login you have, so make sure the only one who can access it is you.
All right. So that was a brief but informative video about your Apple ID. Now, some persons might be saying, well, I hear them saying I have to keep up with my password, but I have forgotten my password. Here's how to reset your Apple ID password if you forgot it. Okay, so everyone who signed into their iPad can go into settings and look to tap on their name on the top left of their iPad. Okay, and that will show your Apple ID settings. All right, that's what this person has done. That's what the pictures are showing. So we see Alexander Bell tapped on his name. So now it's highlighted in blue. Okay. And here are some simple next steps. If you scroll down and you tap sign out, it gives you the option to tap on forgot password. Okay. And once you do that, you can follow the on-screen instructions to reset your Apple ID password. Likely, Apple will send a verification code to your phone, either via text message or phone call. Also, a code to your email address, okay? Because, Apple is big on security. So you'll have to go through those steps. So the point is to please keep up with your Apple ID password. If you wrote it down somewhere, try to go find that little piece of paper, especially before you call the help desk, because we need that information. If you're trying to update your Zoom app or download an app for the first time, you're going to need your Apple ID password, okay? So if you're a person that forgot their password, go ahead and try those steps and settings, okay? So let's go into Zoom, and this is just going to be a brief overview of some of the things that you can do in Zoom, because we have an entire module, an entire class on Zoom and how to make a Zoom account. So we're just going to briefly go over this. What is Zoom? So Zoom is cloud-based, so it's on the internet. Video communications app that allows you to set up virtual video and audio conferencing, live chats, screen sharing, and more. You don't need an account to attend a Zoom meeting, but an account is required to start your own meetings. Zoom is now the video platform of choice for federal governments, tech startups, and people who are just looking to chat or even party with friends and family. So Zoom is very widespread. Some benefits of Zoom: easy access to educational resources. A lot of schools went to Zoom during the pandemic, especially. Learner flexibility, available worldwide. Equal opportunities for both students and teachers because it's very accessible. Improved time management skills because you're able to schedule meetings. Also, relationship building and participating in online discussions, just like we do in these classes. How to access this Zoom meeting. So there's two main ways that you can join a Zoom meeting. To join this one, similar how you did today, you can either tap on the link or button in the email. That's that blue button that has the Zoom meeting ID and passcode from the daily reminder email that Alexander makes sure goes out every day, or through the Zoom app or Zoom Workplace. If you tap on it, you tap join meeting, and we're going to go over these pictures in a moment, but you'll put in the meeting ID manually as well as the passcode. So through the Zoom app, this is what you may see. You tap on the Zoom app and then tap on join meeting. This is how the Zoom looks if you're not signed in or don't have an account. Enter the meeting ID, which for this meeting is 839-1343-6769. It's also in the email that you receive. You'll enter your screen name, which is your first and last name, and tap join. And that's shown here is where you would enter your passcode. The passcode is always 2. Okay. And then a screen may show up that is a video preview. On the video preview screen, and I'm learning that some people don't know this, on that screen you can choose to turn your camera off if you like before you come in the meeting. It's completely up to you whether your camera is on or off, but you have that option before you join the meeting to shut your camera off or turn it on if you like on that video preview screen before you come into the meeting, okay? Okay, so once you join, and this is really important, especially to persons that this is their first class. I know because we have someone new in the class, and I'll give her a shout out later. When you join, you tap on where it says Wi-Fi or cellular data. You cannot hear the class unless you tap on Wi-Fi or cellular data. Now, if it doesn't pop up on your screen, you may have to tap on the headphones and then join audio that way if it doesn't just show up. Now, if you join and the class has already begun, you may see a pop-up that lets you know the meeting is being recorded. You can just tap on got it and then enjoy the class, okay? And at that point, you have successfully joined a Zoom meeting, okay? Felt like a lot of steps that way, right? It goes pretty simply, and each step explains what to do next. A few other features, some you can't access now, but that's okay. Like gallery view allows you to see more than just the person speaking right now. You can't do that right now though, because I'm sharing my screen. But once I stop sharing my screen, you'll be able to see gallery view, where you can see over 10, 16 people at a time. There's the audio button that allows you to mute and unmute. The video button, which a lot of y'all use, you can start and stop your video. Share content, which I'm using right now to share this presentation with you all. Participants, so that you can view who else is in the call. And the more button, where you can raise your hand, use the chat feature, and more. A lot of you all have even practiced your virtual backgrounds with Alexander's assistance from the other module. Okay. And I told you all this was just a brief overview of all of these topics. So lastly, we're going to go over mail. And of course, this is being recorded. It's going to be posted on the YouTube channel by midday tomorrow. So you'll be able to look back over this. All right. So mail, the mail app and how to add an additional email. Someone actually asked me about this last week, so I hope you're on. Okay. Here we go. Oh, did I skip one? Nope. Okay. How to add an additional email account on your iPad. So first, this is the list showing you how to do it, and then we're going to look at a picture of how to do it. So open settings, scroll down on the left-hand menu and tap on mail. It'll be highlighted in blue, right? Because you tapped on it. Then on the right-hand side, tap on accounts, then tap add account, select your email provider, and log in following the prompts on the screen, okay? So these are the 4 steps, and we're going to see what that looks like on your iPad via pictures, okay? And this is what your mail app will look like once you're signed in. But let's look at, oh, and you may either have an iCloud email, Google, Yahoo, or what have you. But here, these pictures show how to add an additional account on your iPad. So let's say when you set up your Apple ID, you had an iCloud, but previously you said, well, I used to have a Gmail, or, you know, I had a Yahoo or a Hotmail or what have you. These pictures show those 4 steps. On the left-hand side, mail is highlighted because it's been tapped on. You see accounts highlighted, so you would tap there. And then you can tap add account that's shown in the picture on the right. And what will come up is all of these different email servers, Google, Yahoo, AOL. If you have another iCloud account, they all show up here, Outlook, and you're able to tap on that. And then you'll have to follow the prompts that open up for that particular email server. Okay. All right, so this is important, and this slide was added in because this is a common issue. If it has not happened to you, it may happen to you. Okay, the Zoom app has a update right now that has caused persons to not be able to get into Zoom. So here's what you may see. An error message may pop up when you try to update your app or when you try to join a Zoom meeting. That's because the apps were preloaded on the iPad. So if you see this error message when you try to update, here's what you have to do. First, you'll have to delete the app from the iPad, okay? This screen shows that you can hold the app icon down, then hit remove app and then delete app. That's one way. It's also a way that you can do that in settings that we'll be adding into the modules as well. But for simplicity's sake, hold down the app icon, tap remove app, then delete app. Once you hold the app, and I'm sure a lot of you all have seen this before, the apps will start to shake, okay? And that's when you're able to tap remove app and delete it. Once the app is deleted, you don't see it anymore. You'll have to go to the App Store, search for the app, and download it again. Okay. And once you download it, you're downloading this now under your Apple ID. So Apple ID will ask for your email address and Apple ID password to re-download the app. Okay. So if you have this issue in the coming weeks or months where you're unable to join the Zoom meeting, and then it also doesn't allow you to update your app, before calling the help desk, try deleting the app and downloading it again in the App Store, okay? And if you can't do, and if it doesn't work for you, then go ahead and give us a call. All right. So in a minute, we're gonna open the floor for questions. Alexander's email is on here, but there's also the help desk email at helpdesk@wildtech.org, as well as our number and website. So this completes module 1. I'm going to stop screen sharing and stop recording and take questions.